Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am not here with Geeky Sparkles, so you can just shut the video off right now. She did not want to do this one, but that's okay. You're here with me. You're stuck with me. We're going to talk about Dave Chappelle. Breaking news: Netflix announces 4 new Dave Chappelle comedy specials. Now, gotta disclaim this. If you actually read the article on The Hollywood Reporter, it's not 4 new stand-up specials of Dave Chappelle. He's actually producing the specials. He's going to focus on other comedians. But the fact of the matter is, Netflix is not canceling Dave Chappelle. Netflix is not canceling Dave Chappelle. We talked before about, in the video, talking about Why the Last Man, that Hollywood executives are learning that they have to look at the numbers. They have to look at the numbers when they decide to cancel someone or renew a show or whatever. And at the end of the day, Dave Chappelle brings eyeballs. Joe Rogan brings eyeballs. You don't have to agree with what they say, but if you're looking at the numbers, strictly the numbers, they're definitely bringing people to the platform. Chappelle, I think, has a comedy tour, something he's doing this summer. But yeah, Netflix is not getting rid of him. So all of the temper tantrums, all of the outrage on Twitter meant nothing. And that's one thing that I think is starting to change, that Hollywood, that these studios are starting to realize that Twitter and these pop culture journalists making it seem like the entire world is outraged about something. It's a tempest in a teapot. It doesn't really matter. It really doesn't. At the end of the day, what matters is eyeballs. What matters is the general audience, and Dave Chappelle definitely brings them. So we're going to talk about that. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Over 258,000 subs. Thank you so much for the support. We do talk about pop culture. We've been talking more about cancel culture lately because cancel culture and pop culture have definitely been intersecting here, where Twitter get someone in their crosshairs for whatever reason, and they harp and they nag and they tag in studios and they tag in publishers and they try to get these people removed from projects because it makes them feel like they have a little bit of power. And that was kind of the situation with Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle is one of the most popular comedians of all time. I think his influence has grown as Twitter has tried to cancel him. His bank account has definitely grown, and he's talked about that. And it's not working anymore. I think studios, I think companies like Netflix are starting to realize that it doesn't work. Twitter is not a real place, just like Dave Chappelle said. And the cancel culture needs to be canceled, and they got to look at the numbers. So this is coming from the Hollywood Reporter. They dropped it on a Friday afternoon, which tells me that they were probably trying to bury it because they were hoping there wouldn't be any Twitter backlash. And sure enough, if you go out to Twitter right now, very few people talking about Dave Chappelle. They're like, oh, he's doing new Netflix specials on US viral trending or whatever. And just Twitter hasn't caught on that he's not going anywhere yet. Just wait till Monday. Wait till Monday. They'll figure it out. Netflix announces 4 new Dave Chappelle comedy specials. Again, disclaimer, they're not actually stand-up routines. They're not his. He is actually highlighting friends of his. He's using his platform to give voices to other people. That'll be problematic because they'll be like, it's not the right kind of people. Controversial Comic will host and produce 4 comedy specials focusing on other veteran comedians. The streamer announced Friday the release of 4 upcoming comedy specials, executive produced and hosted by the Controversial Comic. Series of specials is dubbed Chappelle's Home Team, and each will feature a different comic introduced by Chappelle. The first to be featured is Earthquake. It's going to be on February 28th. Another will spotlight Donald Rollins. Not familiar with him. One similarity shared by all featured comics is they've been in the stand-up game for at least 30 years. Been doing this a long time, and comedians like Quake and Donald are not only friends, but have inspired my own career. Chappelle said, anyone in the comedy community knows these names and knows their time to shine is long overdue. Proud to be part of that movement. Yeah, sometimes people work for decades until they get somewhere. Specials are directed by Chappelle's go-to Helmer Stan Lathan. Executive produced by Chappelle, Lathan, Earthquake, Ricky Hughes, and Jermaine Smith. Chappelle is a hugely popular draw for the streamer, but his last Netflix special, October's The Closer, drew considerable criticism from the media, as well as from many of his fans for the comic's lengthy discussion of the transgender movement, segments that were blasted as transphobic, even though he was talking about his friend, his trans friend. Netflix CEO Ted Sarandos defended the special amid uproar from some in the streamer's own employee ranks. There was like 5 people complained. And later admitted, I screwed up by not being more sensitive to Netflix staffers. Still, Sarandos backed the program as consistent with our comedy offering. It's consistent with Dave Chappelle's comedy brand. And this is one of those times when there's something on Netflix you're not going to like. You're going to have to deal with it. Not every show is for every person. And frankly, he brings too many people to Netflix. He gets too much watch time. He's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. At the time, The Closer was billed as the last of 6 special packages of Chappelle content for the streamer. They upped him for 4 more. He'll headline a performance at the Hollywood Bowl for Netflix's LA-based comedy festival, Netflix is a Joke, which gets underway in April 28th. Yeah, he's not going anywhere, guys. He is one of their biggest draws. You have failed to cancel Dave Chappelle, and on some level, they've failed to cancel Joe Rogan too. I think they're going to keep harping on Rogan. I think they have more grounds for Rogan because he does get a lot more political than Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle gets pretty political, but it's all tongue-in-cheek. Rogan has conversations that are verboten in 2022. But I think these companies are starting to learn that you cannot listen to Twitter. You cannot listen to a handful of pop culture journos who feed the Twitter outrage machine. You got to look at the numbers, and he definitely brings them. So I'm going to wrap this one up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, and we will talk later.